Hello, you are watching Shalom World News. I'm David Kerr from Lansing in Michigan, and these are your latest news headlines from around the world. The Vatican has confirmed that Pope Emeritus Benedict XVI has experienced a sudden decline in his health, but is stable and under medical care. The statement regarding Pope Benedict's health was issued by the Vatican Press Office on Wednesday, December the 28th. The press office added that Pope Francis went to visit the 95-year-old Pope Emeritus, where he lives, at the Mater Ecclesiae Monastery in the Vatican, after the general audience on Wednesday morning, during which Pope Francis had asked for prayers for Pope Benedict XVI's health. Pope Francis's personal envoy to Ukraine is on his way back to Rome after another visit to the war-torn nation. Cardinal Konrad Krajewski, who is the Papal Almoner, undertook his journey to Ukraine to distribute relief materials, including thermal clothing, to those suffering from cold and the travails of war. The items were distributed with the help of the local branch of the international Catholic charity, Caritas Internationalis. Cardinal Krajewski also took electric generators with him, with one such generator being used to light up a house where refugees are staying. This permitted Cardinal Krajewski to celebrate Holy Mass for those present. The Cardinal is now on his way back to the western Ukrainian city of Lviv, where he will drive all the way back to Italy, traversing over 2,000 miles. Serbia has placed its military on high alert near the border with neighbouring Kosovo. Amid rising tensions, both Serbia and Kosovo are accusing one another of preparing for armed conflict. Serbian officials claim alleged harassment of Kosovo Serbs by ethnic Albanians, who are the majority in the breakaway province that declared its independence in 2008. Serbian President Aleksandar Vučić says he has put the army on alert to defend Serbs across the border. Much of the eastern United States continues to be buffeted by snowstorms. So far, the winter weather is believed to have killed over 60 people, including at least 28 people in the city of Buffalo in New York State. Meanwhile, nearly 4,900 flights have been cancelled across the US, with Southwest Airlines one of the worst hit by the snowstorm. The airline has had to cancel more than 60% of its flights on Tuesday alone. In Nigeria, 17 cattle herders were killed on Monday in an attack suspected to have been carried out by the Islamist group Boko Haram. According to reports, the terrorists targeted cattle guarding herders in a pasture in the Mafa district. Both Boko Haram and their fellow jihadist Islamic State West Africa province accuse loggers, farmers and herders of spying on them for the Nigerian government and for local anti-jihadist militia. According to the United Nations, since 2009, jihadist violence in the northeast of Nigeria has claimed the lives of over 40,000 people and forced around 2 million people to flee their homes. Last year saw the abortion rate in Florida fall by 14.5%. That's according to new figures from the state's Agency for Healthcare and Administration. The decline coincided with Florida Governor Ron DeSantis signing a 15-week abortion ban in April and the US Supreme Court overturning Roe v. Wade in June. Governor DeSantis has pledged to continue to fight to strengthen pro-life safeguards and also to encourage adoption, foster care and child welfare. Meanwhile, the Office of Governor DeSantis has announced it is investigating a so-called drag queen Christmas event that allegedly exposed children to sexualized acts. The event, which was held at the Broward Center of the Performing Arts in Fort Lauderdale, was part of a national tour entitled A Drag Queen Christmas. The event, which was first reported by the Floridian newspaper, allegedly featured sexually provocative content and lewd dances. Florida's Department of Business and Professional Regulation is now investigating the matter, as it is illegal in Florida to expose children to sexually explicit material, and doing so violates the department's licensing requirements for running a business. Any evidence gathered will also be shared with law enforcement. The Indonesian President Joko Widodo paid a surprise visit to the Cathedral of the Blessed Virgin Mary in Bogor in East Java province on Christmas Day. The visit is being seen as an act of solidarity towards other religious groups in the Muslim-majority nation. After the Christmas Mass, President Widodo unexpectedly showed up at the church, made his way to the altar and greeted both the priests and the lay faithful. The Indonesian President spends his weekends at the Bogor State Palace, which is approximately 500 metres from the cathedral. The President told those present that, quote, "Our responsibility to ensure social harmony in our country is shared with our fellow Catholic citizens. Together," he said, "we advance our nation's unity while fostering our tolerance toward social groups." And he concluded by saying, "Happy holidays to you all." The northern Spanish diocese of Barbastro-Monzon has announced that a reparatory service will be held at the chapel within Barbastro's hospital, where the Blessed Sacrament was desecrated on Christmas Eve. During the sacrilegious incident, assailants scattered sacred hosts on the ground after forcibly opening the chapel's tabernacle. Following the attack, the socialist president of the Aragonese regional government, Javier Lamban, took to social media to condemn the desecration. Iran's reigning world chess champion has shown her defiance against the Iranian regime by competing without wearing a hijab or headscarf. Sarah Kadim Al-Sharia was competing this week in the 2022 World Rapid Chess Championship in Kazakhstan. In doing so, she becomes the latest in a growing list of high-profile Iranian women showing themselves in public without hijabs or veils. Pope Francis has urged young people to trust in God without despairing of humanity. The Holy Father made his comments in an address to young people attending the 45th TASI European meeting in the German city of Rostock. He urged those attending to have clarity about the surrounding evil and to trust in God. The Pope also encouraged them to keep hope alive by consistently putting their confidence in the Lord. The TASI community is an ecumenical Christian monastic fraternity based in Taizé in Burgundy in France. It's composed of more than 100 brothers from both Catholic and non-Catholic traditions. They originate from around 30 countries around the world. The Basilica of the National Shrine of the Immaculate Conception in Washington, D.C. is now offering a virtual tour of the historic church. On December the 25th, the Basilica tweeted, "Virtually tour the Joyful Mysteries Chapel, celebrating the jubilance of the Messiah's birth and early life." The 5 chapels are located in the church sanctuary. They each depict the 5 joyful mysteries of the Holy Rosary. Each chapel tells a story of its respective mystery in colourful, glittering mosaics, along with a parallel scene from the Old Testament. The Synod of the Orthodox Church of Cyprus has chosen Metropolitan Georgios of Paphos as its new archbishop. The decision was made on Christmas Eve. Georgios III will succeed Chrysos Thomas II, who died on November the 7th. All Cypriots who are eligible to vote in the election chose 3 possible nominees among the available candidates, and it was then for the Synod to select the new Archbishop. Born in 1949, Georgios III has engaged in extensive pastoral work over the years and ardently supports ecumenical ties between the Catholic Church and the Ecumenical Church of Constantinople. Finally, a play charting the history of St. Francis of Assisi's creation of the first living nativity scene was performed on December the 26th at Greccio in Italy, the location of that first ever living nativity scene. It was 799 years ago that St. Francis ordered a friend to set up a cave with live animals and a manger filled with hay. His desire was to help bring the story of Jesus' birth to life. This is the 49th year that Greccio, a hill town 50 miles south of Rome, has recreated that nativity scene. The play will also be staged on January the 1st, 6th, 7th and 8th. And that's your latest news headlines for now. Do join us for more tomorrow. You can also join us at swnews.org for news updates. Shalom.